In this episode of Motive Tech, we head to Booth Logic in Texas to talk about the process behind 3D metal printing and how it is revolutionizing the performance parts aftermarket industry.
Since we started in 2003, the process for manufacturing parts has changed quite a bit. Compared to today, the process we used in 2003 was archaic. We were taking a car apart, taking metal, mocking things up, taking some measurements, making a part, and then the part was never quite 100%. It was always as good as it could be. And we would use that sample and then make other additional batches of aftermarket parts. And those parts were all based on a part that wasn't exact, so the tolerance was quite a bit worse than what we had hoped for. This process was a cumulative months to get a single turbo kit done, and that would only begin the process of then having to make a batch of these turbo kits. So we would design the turbo kit around a specific turbocharger, a specific size and a specific brand. Well, as the advent of the competition of these turbos, different companies would come out with different turbochargers, and also the initial company, let's say we designed the turbo around, they would come out with a revised version, the next generation of that turbocharger. Each of these different turbochargers required, once again, getting the vehicle in, redesigning the products to work around that turbocharger, and redoing the associated components as well. This was a timely process, and of course, just getting a car in, having the downtime of that car, these were all steps that were non-conducive to quickly developing new options. And we love to develop new options. So, we always did it anyways, but we were constantly stuck with projects taking longer than we anticipated, running into hurdles that we had to figure out how to circumvent, and so on and so forth. We had seen the top-tier automotive manufacturers using 3D scanning and top-level engineering methods for a long time, but we never thought that would be attainable for us. And we started to use 3D scanning a little over 10 years ago, but the quality wasn't nearly what it is today. Back then, we would take 3D scans, but the finite measurements were not that extreme. We had to then go and take additional measurements and input those into our files. And while we were very happy with what we had, it was still lacking quite a bit where we imagined OEM manufacturers were using. Fast forward to the past few years, technology has gotten much better. We have very technically accurate laser measurement technology that can measure down to the micrometer. This is allowing us to design parts which fit way better than anything we could have ever imagined. Our process now for engineering products on a car is far different than it was 25 years ago. We bring a car in, we first will decide which parts that we plan on making now, but also think about what products we might want to make in the future so we can plan for scanning those components of the vehicle. So we're ready to make that in our CAD programs whenever we decide we want to make that. So we'll bring a car in, like on the Nissan GTR, we will scan the entire engine bay, we'll take the bumper off, we'll scan around there, we'll scan underneath the car, and then we'll pull the engine out, we'll scan it without the engine in it, and we can basically put all of these scans together. We have the entire car in a computer. We can design our products to fit around the nooks and crannies of the vehicle, and we've scanned it down to the micrometer, so our products then fit in and around everything perfectly. So in CAD, we're able to design our full turbo kit, and we can make it fit a particular turbo. We design the whole kit around it with the accessories, motor mount brackets, all these various engineered parts. And we complete a turbo kit that we can have ready for manufacturing. Now, inevitably, a new turbo comes out, and we're excited to add this into our catalog of turbo kits. So we can scan that turbo, and then we can input it into our CAD files, and now we can make an entirely new version of our turbo kit without ever touching a car. So the process flow of manufacturing the part, after we're done with the CAD work, we then will print the part in plastic. We started using the plastic printed parts about 12 years ago. At the time, we outsourced the plastic printing, and that GTR intake manifold back then, I remember it cost about $5,000 to get the plastic print of the manifold. Fast forward to now, we have multiple 3D printers here that cost well under $5,000 that can easily print that. Having the 3D printers on site is obviously very helpful. After we design a part, we immediately print it out, and then we take that print, we go walk over to the car, we can test fit it, we can make some little bit of changes as needed. Sometimes you still have to see it in the car, in its environment, to get an idea of what changes you might want to make. So we can do that, we can make those changes, and very quickly we're ready to print another one, test fit it again, and then we can move on to production. Metal 3D printing has been around for a while. Fast forward to in the past couple of years, metal printing has gotten to be very affordable. And not only are we using it for prototyping parts, but also for production parts. So 3D metal printing works very similar to how the plastic printers work, in where it's laying down layer of material. In the plastic, it's plastic material, and the metal, it's obviously metal. So in the metal process, the reason why it fuses so well is because it has a high temperature laser that fuses it as it lays it down. So a lot of people may be concerned about the strength of metal printing, and it's very strong. In comparison to casting a product, there's porosity inside the metal. Even with the best of casting technologies, there is still porosity there. Now with 3D metal printing, it is very tightly layered at a nanoscale level, and the layers are so tight that it's actually much stronger than casting, and it's about 98 to 99% as tight as a billet part, which is extremely tight, and the strength is stronger than anything else you'll see at this level. A lot of the parts that we have here are metal printed, but they don't have a final process done to them beyond a basic sandblasting. The outer layer is going to be how the powder was laid on the final layer of that process. You can grind it back, as we often do pre-welding, to clean the material, and you can see how the actual material looks as the fused together portion, which looks just like a billet stainless steel would. Yeah, you could absolutely polish it. We have sometimes gotten some mirror polished parts. Unfortunately, it's cost prohibitive to do on a manufacturing standpoint, but we have done it for fun just to check out how cool it is. So through the manufacturing process, we're going to be welding them up with the raw material, but we don't do too much to the finish on that because most of the time we end up powder coating the product. So we'll show you examples of the manifold in the raw state, and then with a completed ceramic coating or powder coating, and that's how we'll be shipping it out to our customer. We're now metal printing a lot of componentry that can be used in various parts of our turbo kits. We're using them for motor mount brackets, various other brackets, and also headers, header brackets, compressor housing outlets, various items that couldn't be made before in an efficient manner. Now with 3D printing, we're able to design them in a way that will flow more and ultimately make more power than the predecessors. We're using generative design to make a lot of these brackets, and what they're doing is we're inputting the structural loads on these items as well as torsional forces, and we are creating a product that is way stronger than a conventional bracket would be. And while it's way stronger, it's also significantly lighter. We're able to manufacture that through metal printing. This is a great example of one of these brackets. We're using this for our B58 turbo kit, and it's going to be bracketing the turbo from the header. So it's going to keep all of the weight of the turbo off of the manifold, and due to its unique design, it's lightweight and supports all the weight. So we conventionally made this bracket out of sheet metal. Previously, that sheet metal would have a very flat surface right here, which would be required for the strength to hold the engine. But with generative design, we're able to open up this pocket. And the reason we need to open up this pocket is so we can fit a giant turbocharger whose compressor housing actually goes in this space. So that allows us to fit a turbo that we weren't able to before, and we're able to do it with a lightweight bracket that's very strong. So the R35 is a platform with a very tight engine bay, and there isn't a lot of room for big turbos. Over the years, we've managed to squeeze some pretty big turbos in, but recently we've gotten the biggest of biggest turbos. So using the Precision Sportsman series, we have basically a giant turbo that's shoehorned in between the frame rail. And we're able to do this with the latest and greatest of metal printing technology. The giant turbo barely fits in the engine bay, but with our 3D printed manifolds, our 3D printed brackets, and our 3D printed compressor housing outlets, we're able to have this turbo fit and work very efficiently. Previously, you'd either have to have the pipe go outside of the frame rail, which limited you from being able to turn your wheel all the way, or you'd have to use cast aluminum elbows, cut them up, do weird pie shapes, and ultimately have something that didn't flow optimally. When you're looking for the most power out of your setup, you need all the flow you can get, and everything needs to flow as efficiently as possible. With our BL GTR 2500X turbo kit, we're able to run turbos as large as an 8685 turbo. One of these turbos can make 1,800 wheel horsepower, so two of them in this platform, let's just say we're going to be seeing some new records with this kit. We've been testing our metal printed manifolds since last fall. Since then, we've had quite a few customers set various records. At Texas 2K, there were a handful of cars running these printed manifolds, running low 7s, high 6-second quarter mile passes. This is the collector that we're using on our B58 and S58 turbo kits. This is metal printed, and it's allowed us to create something that fits much better within the header and the chassis than we otherwise could. You can see the long transition merges, which is optimal for flow, as well as the wastegate priority. We're able to make something that is designed for not only high boost, but low boost, and fits perfectly inside the package of the vehicle. So this collector, previously, to make something of this quality, we would have to cast it. Casting it, it can take easily 9 months to a year because you have to get a mold. You have to spend $10,000, for example, to make a mold for this, and then wait a year to get the product. And then once you get the product, if you want to make any changes, you may have to make a whole new mold. So with 3D metal printing, we're able to design this where we can have it in our hands within a few weeks, and then we can complete our turbo kit. And this allows us to get to market faster with products and have the latest and greatest products for your vehicle as quickly as possible. So billet manufacturing is a subtractive process. You start with a large block and you're cutting it down. Whereas with 3D printing, it's an additive process. So you're able to do it much quicker. You don't have to deal with the issues of a failed production attempt. So a great example of our process flow in manufacturing. This is our 991 GT3 and GT3 RS turbo kit intercooler. So we originally designed this in CAD, we printed it out, we test fit it in the vehicle. After we approved that test fit, we then moved on to manufacturing it. So we manufactured it out of printed aluminum. So we've got our end tanks, we've got our water tanks, and we got that in. Now we've welded it to the core, and very quickly we have a fully usable intercooler that we can make with our kit. Now, once we move to production on the kit, we may switch to making some of these components out of billet. In the production flow, we would make this out of billet just because we know this is going to be a high volume product. We know we can make a batch of 50 of these and they'll sell pretty quickly. Now, if we were looking at, let's say, a custom component on a Bugatti exhaust system or something super high-end and custom that we were doing, we would just metal print it and we would make the entire production batch metal printed. One great example of this, on our Lamborghini Revuelto exhaust system, we are making a number of components out of metal printing that we could do it through other processes like billet or casting, but because it's a very low production run, we're going to stick with metal printing on that. So this is an intercooler pipe for our S58 turbo kit. We have already prototyped this in plastic, and this is our metal printed pipe. Now, for manufacturing, this will be made out of mandrel bent tubing with the brackets and the Van Gen weld ends welded to it. For our development purposes, we decided to metal print this pipe so we could quickly check our drawing and have a prototype piece that we can use on a vehicle. We will prototype this and various other components that are all metal printed, and once we move to production, we'll decide whether those components stay metal printed or if they move on to billet or cast or potentially other processes. The plastic printed products are great for testing fitment, but unfortunately we can't run vehicles on plastic printed parts. So what we will do is with these metal printed parts, we can actually run them on the vehicle, we can fully test everything with it, and we can move to production with however other process we decide to manufacture the item. This particular pipe, it will stay on the development vehicle and we'll probably never change it out because it's a perfectly functional piece. It costs quite a bit more than the mandrel bent pipe that we'll be doing, but it's a lot quicker to get and it's a high quality setup. As metal printing grows, I'm sure that we'll be doing more and more production components out of metal printed parts. And some unique things that metal printing allows us to do, making lighter weight parts than otherwise. There's a number of different metals that can be used for 3D printing. We're 3D printing in stainless steel, tool steel, sometimes in Inconel, titanium, and as well as aluminum. And there's various other metals that can be used as well. So based on the application, we'll decide which metal is best for the application.